What's good, y'all? My name is Rorvis Paradox, aka Docs Brando, and I'd like to welcome you all to another installment of Rorvis Reviews, but with a twist. This ain't like a film review of anything in particular other than my Spotify rap. We're just gonna go over it. I'm just interested in just doing a whole video about what did I experience with my Spotify rap this year. I think it's very interesting. I think this is the best Spotify rap they had in a few years now. I think it really did show a lot of what I've been listening to for the most part, besides like the stuff I listen to outside, like while I'm at work and I'm using YouTube instead of Spotify sometimes, stuff like that. So some factors it doesn't add into, but for the most part, I think it's pretty spot on, and I can't wait to go through it with y'all. I've already gone through it, but I want to really analyze it a little bit further. So that's why we're having this video today. So if this is your first time watching a video from me, I appreciate you watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, share with people that you think will enjoy this type of content, because coming up soon-ish, back end of the year, my end of the year reviews for movies, mainstream artists, and local artists. So be on the lookout. You might be surprised. You might see yourself. So without further ado, let's get to the intro. Alright, so we're just gonna get right into it. So I got my phone here and I will just be showing you what I'll be looking at. For the most things, there might be some things that you might see, like certain animations or certain things I think that don't need to be on screen and shared. So we're just gonna get through it. So let's see what they got for us. So it starts off with your list. You listen, we counted. So what we have here? So it says I have over 2,044 minutes on Spotify. Sounds about right, because sometimes either I'm doing something and I low-key can be listening to music, like while I'm at work sometimes, like well actually I can be listening to music, as I think I just didn't utilize my headset like I should have, things like that. And then of course I have YouTube where I'm if I want to work on my computer, stuff like that. So that's probably why that didn't happen like it should, because I definitely listen to more music than it states. But I think that's still pretty interesting, right? Then it goes to say, tastes like yours can't be defined, but let's try anyway. You listen to over 270 different genres. Sounds about right. I think I definitely was exploring a variety of different music. If it's not just with barriers with genres as far as like hip hop, rock, and stuff like that. I'm also going to different cultures, type of music, different instrumentals. Sometimes jazz will pop up, a variety of different music. So I think that makes perfect sense. But in particular, my top genres are alternative hip hop, funk, soft rock, R&B, and then they put soundtrack. Now soundtrack sounds weird, but I was definitely spinning the fuck out of that Sinner soundtrack. Magnificent. I'll spin the fuck out of the Crow soundtrack this year. There's a few other soundtracks that I was just in my bag for, so it doesn't even surprise me like that. R&B makes perfect sense, especially with some of those albums that I've been listening to this year as well. Soft rock, I think that would include like Iron Maiden, I believe counts as soft rock, give or take. I don't know. I'm still trying to understand all the different rocks genres within the subgenres within rock. So I'm gonna have to do better on that on my part. Funk makes perfect sense. Love me some music that kind of goes with how I dress, because I do wear these bell bottoms, velvet as fuck. Y'all already know. And then alternative hip hop, I think in hip hop in general, but like alternative, not bad though. But then it gets into this obscure thing that I thought was kind of funny. It gets into age is just a number, so don't take this personally. So they're going to judge my age based off the type of music that I listen to. And then I got the listening age of 68. So apparently it's because you're into music from the early 70s. You have an old soul. they got me. I got my oldies playlist with nothing but soul and R&B type music. I've been listening to a whole lot of older rock music, especially that Iron Maiden. I've been bumping Iron Maiden like crazy. And then I discovered Billy Idol this year. And I know some of y'all, how do you discover Billy Idol? He's been out. When you haven't listened to rock like that and it's not in your household, never heard him for real, besides like Rebel Yell in a commercial. When I first listened to his Rebel Yell album, I heard the title track, I was like, oh, I've definitely heard that in a commercial. But either way, I'm definitely someone that tries to go back to, because music is so cool. Just like with movies, that as much as you can enjoy going forward, there's so much going backwards as well. So I think that's pretty cool, and it makes perfect sense. Now it says I listened to over 2,597 songs this year, but can I guess my number one? Then it gets into this quiz like feature, and there was the options between Sincere by Zlu, Hate Myself by Zlu, Insomnia by Tim Jules. Then we got Peekaboo by Kendrick Lamar, and then TV Off by Kendrick Lamar. And then for me, I figured it's gonna be either some song between Zlu and Tim Jules, honestly. So, but I did go with Hate Myself, because I think that's just a great fucking song by Zlu, and I was correct. So it turns out that my top song was Hate Myself by Zlu. I listened to the song, apparently I listened to the song 36 times by itself, but I don't know, it felt like I definitely listened to it more, probably just because I continually, it's on different playlists, as well as the amount of times I spend this album. Insane, not gonna lie to you. So my top songs were Hate Myself by Zlu, Sincere by Zlu, Peekaboo by Kendrick Lamar, Insomnia by Tim Jules, and TV Off by Kendrick Lamar. Insomnia, definitely one of my favorite songs of the year, so it makes perfect sense why it's here. The amount of times I was like, yeah, I'm just going to start the song over. I don't care if from the top, I made some mistakes. Oh my god, y'all know that song was crazy by Tim Jules, and the production from Linktree, them boys don't miss, man. Then they made me a playlist, of course, how you know, with Spotify Rap, and then I'll kind of go over that towards the end of the video. Then we got the amount of albums I listened to. It said I listened to 107. Honestly, it's a little lighter than I would like it to be, but 107 on a little bit of a down year because I definitely feel like I missed some albums this year, but I'll take 107. But now we get to what was my favorite album of the year based off of Spotify Rap. What was number one? And of course, it's my top album was Green Pastor Child by Zlu. It said I listened to this album about 666 minutes, so makes perfect sense. I think this has just been a great album from top to bottom from this year. This came out very early in the year, and it just stayed in rotation. It was like, you know what? Let me just play this Zlu, and this is an album I can just play at work. I can play while I'm just chilling at home. Sure, I think I played this on the ride to Cali. It's just a great album. Then you get to my full top 5, and still makes perfect sense. Coming up in second is GNX by Kendrick Lamar. When an album comes out in November of 2024, it's going to lead its way into the following year, and with it being so infectious, such instant replay value, it makes perfect sense why this was right here at number 2. The amount of times I spend this album is insane, and I did go to see the GNX tour, so nothing but GNX for the year for the most part. It makes sense to me. Number 3, which surprised me, was I Am Music by Playboi Carti is at number 3. Now, it's surprising to me because like I was into this heavy early on in the year, and some of my friends would be like, Playboi Carti, what is he doing there for Docs? Completely understandable. I understand why y'all think that. Y'all think that I wouldn't listen to his music, but I do rock with a good majority of songs off self-titled. I rock with Die Lit, and I haven't listened to Whole Lot Red, so I miss Whole Lot Red. That's on me. That one's on me. But this one right here, this one was bumping. Oh my god. Shawty gonna let me crush. Shawty gonna let me crush. Man, and then all those feature tracks with Kendrick, few of those ones where Travis was going. This really great album from him. Honestly, that one truly surprised me how much I did enjoy that album. So for it to be at 3 though, I was like, oh shit, I didn't know I listened to it that much. Then coming up at 4 was my brother, Xavier Shaw's As Above. This album right here truly is, wow, I'm just shocked at the album, truly. I did not have any expectations for my dog's album, and then getting to hear a little bit of it at that listening party, I was like, okay, but sound issues, stuff like that. I remember telling y'all about this in the review of As Above, but this album has got replay value. I think the production is top notch. Rapping is the rapping, the lyricism, the flow, the cadence, everything coming from Shaw and his feature artists, great. Then at number 5, this one snuck on here because I just have not been able to stop listening to this album and songs from this album on the second half of this year, and that is All American Fuckboy by Duckworth. Oh my god. Okay, so I found this album sometime, I want to say July. Like, you know how Spotify would start playing a song after you finish an album or anything like that, and one of the songs came on. I was like, hold on, let me just go to the album. I'm the type, if I hear one song, let me like the album and I'm gonna get to it. And then I ended up listening to the album. I was like, okay. And then he came out on tour, and my niggas, my dogs, the Sam X boys were opening up for him. I was like, well, I like to listen to an album of an artist, even though if I've never was a major fan of him, or if I am a huge fan of him, I'm gonna bump the music just so I can get into the feel of what I'm about to be experiencing, right? So I was just listening to this album, like, I think I listened to this album the day before the tour like 3 times. I was like, the more and more I listened to it, I was like, good God, this is grown folk music. This is mature realization music. This is an album like with Mr. Morale. This is like Chromacopia, where this is some self-analyzation about why he is who he is and why he's making terrible decisions, why he's not good with relationships with women, or maintaining them, or doing things that self-sabotage or ruin the relationship, stuff like that, and where it stems from his father, what he did to his mom. A very mature album with some, oh my god, some great songs on here. I'm really changing, man, that's my song on there. Oh my god. Oh yeah. But no, those top 5, phenomenal. I think that's a solid top 5 albums from the year. We're gonna see where they stack up on my mainstream and my local artist list, but we shall see. So then we get to my top 5 artists, and we kind of already talked about them. It was Kendrick Lamar, it was Z-Lu, it was Tim Jules, Playboy Carti made it on here as well. So who is my number 1 artist? And to probably no one's real surprise, it's Kendrick Lamar. It said I spent about 1,040 minutes listening to Kendrick Lamar, and it said it makes me about the 2% global fan. I'm like, I'll take that. Spinning the Hell, JNX, of course, any other songs from our projects that I listen to him as well. But it makes perfect sense to me in that aspect. And so it go Kendrick Lamar, Z-Lu, Tim Jules, Playboy Carti, and Larry June sneaks up here for my 5. That one makes sense because he did drop the collab tape, Life is Beautiful, with Alchemist and 2 Chainz, and then he had a second project that he dropped this year, which was good as well. Larry June's just getting that bag music, so like, hey, look, if you ain't getting to the bag, if you ain't working, you don't need to be listening to Larry June. And then Tim Jules dropped like 3 or 4 projects this year, so I stay listening to at least 2 or 3 of them. So he literally like forced his way to my top 5 artists. Like, I couldn't even do nothing about that. Z-Lu, hey man, showed his fucking ass at this project this year. Ain't nothing else to say in that part. And then All Your Music made you something closer. Now they made different clubs based off of organizations about the music that you listen to, stuff like that. And then the one I got the gritty let me see, the Grit Collective. So your club believes in rebellion through music. There is no club rulebook, which is pretty cool, right? And then it says my role is the scout. It says that hold up, it's loading again. So my role is the scout, and this is because you listen to the freshest releases, always pushing your club forward, which I try to do. I try to listen to them Thursday, Friday releases as soon as possible. I remember as soon as I heard Tyler dropped, I'm listening to his project on my at work at Spotify, on Spotify. So I think, even though I don't like I think I should have listened to more albums this year, I think I did a pretty good job, honestly. And then it says, part of this, I'm part of 9% of global listeners in my club, so apparently everybody else is in different clubs. And then what I thought was really cool are the club favorites in here. So it says, your club favorites include Iron Maiden, Jid, Paris, Texas, Kendrick Lamar, The Alchemist, and Ray Vaughn. Now, I don't listen to The Alchemist like that by himself. It's usually when he's producing. So I did listen to the Freddie Gibbs and Alchemist tape from this year a few times. Then he was on the Life is Beautiful with 2 Chainz and Larry June, so that makes sense. Paris, Texas, them duos, Dumb Tough, dropped 2 great projects this year. Jid, great album this year, got to see him on tour, that was great. Kendrick Lamar, not have to be said. Iron Maiden, I listened to one of their albums mainly. That's probably one of my favorites, and then I listened to a couple more just recently, actually, so that makes sense. And then Ray Vaughn, Cemetery Lights was a great single that I could not stop spinning. The production, the eeriness, love it. But his project, it was okay. I haven't spun it much anymore. I'm probably gonna come back to it while I work on my end of the year list, so not too bad, honestly. But yeah, so I think that's pretty good. Top artists: Kendrick Lamar, Z. Lou, Tim Jules, Playboy Cardi, Larry June, Hate Myself, Sincere, Pickable, Insomnia, TV offers my top 5 songs, 2,000 minutes, and then the genres I've been listening to. So, and then it gets into case files. Honestly, I thought this was like, didn't need this. It said it was AI generated, so it's just like kind of just based off of some information. It's not like they really curated this. So I was like, not really too impressed with that. So yeah, that was my Spotify rap. And then for my Spotify rap playlist, I really enjoyed the schematics of it, because this is the first time it shows how many listens you did for each song, which is really cool. And then of course it's a lot of Kendrick Lamar, Z-Lu. I think like Z-Lu's all of Green Pasture Child might be on this fucking playlist, not gonna lie to you. Then we have another project that dropped at the end of the year last year, K-Joe's Catalyst, a few songs on here, Bad Dude, Save the DJ. And then we have damn near almost all of As Above on here, Woda's Sisyphus, and some other tracks off of that project on here. Stadium by Stan Max is on here, Tweaker by Jello's on here, Paris, Texas on here, my man Israel Jones is on here, my another local artist, Weed Joe's out here, Rose Ronnie's on here. Like, honestly, really great playlist that they created for me. I think it lines up to a lot what I've been listening to. Bad Bunny's on here. Let's go. Yeah, no. So, honestly, if I was to rate my Spotify rap, I think this year, not just my Spotify rap, but the schematics of it, how it looks, everything, the looks, the entertainment, the interactiveness, I think I would give it about, I'm gonna say 4.5. I think there were some parts where it could did a little bit better. I think they could take a step further with, let me see, I think the archive things, the files, I think that could have been done a little bit better. Little interesting, but it was kind of like look wise, everything looked good. If they wanted to give you a little bit more albums, for like maybe a top 10 albums, I think that could be nice. Top 10 artists could be really nice, instead of just 5. I think other apps, other streaming platforms went up to 10. So Spotify, what are we doing? Can we step it up a little bit, a little more? You know, you have the data. You could give us 10 art. You know based off the data who our top 10 artists are. So I don't think that's difficult. But overall, this is the best it's been in the last few years. I definitely think that they got lazy for a certain standpoint. Like, it gave you the data, but it gave you, like, based off the data who are your top artists, but it wasn't fun. It just wasn't fun. I thought some of the things were not even quirky. They were just bland, like just like lame attempts. But this one, I like it. I like this one a lot. So now let's get to our closing statements. Like I said, I think the Spotify rap was really good this year. But what I really wanted to get to in this closing statement is, I know I kind of been I'm not as consistent as I've been last year with my video releases. There's definitely been times where trying to balance that work life, like this 9 to 5 shit, is just like fuck. And like knowing when to record, I'm still trying to figure that out. But I think I figured it out. But I just have to feel invigorated. I have to feel motivated. I have to feel inspired. So I think that's, compared to last year where I was just kind of working part-time and I had so much time at my disposal to just be like, if I want to do it here, I can do it here. If I don't, I don't. I can just go for the next day. And then just like me just being outside experiencing a lot of stuff, a lot of these concerts, these live performances, just life in general. I've kind of had a down year with my content creation, which I am disappointed in myself, but I know I can do better. So I'm just going to try to push forward. I'm trying to end this year on a high note with my different end of the year videos, and I'm going to try to push that energy forward into the next year. And I don't know if I'm gonna have a set release day anymore, but when I drop, I'm gonna make sure it's the most focused and most consistent content that I can create. So that's what I'm pushing for into the new year. I'm not making this a resolution. This is just a mindset that I'm going into with the year, and I'm going to try to put it into fruition. So I want to thank you if you have been a viewer over this last year. I want to thank you for the people, even if it's 10 views, I don't care. If it's 100 views or 1,000 views, the people that have been here, I appreciate you. Obviously, Patreon is probably not where I should be at. I'm not up to that level just yet, and that's okay. So we're going to work our way up back to trying to establish that as a secondary platform for myself to be able to really make money off of this, and make this a job. If I could make this my job and I could just lock in, enjoy content, then come back and tell y'all about it, or get some more interviews, stuff like that, be able to start doing interviews. That's something I'm truly passionate about. We'll see. But as of right now, I just hope that y'all continue to support me and push the platform forward. So if you haven't already, follow me on Instagram at DocsBrando25, as well as follow me on Twitter if you want to. That's a little bit more laid back, more fun. But if you want to like kind of just like get updates, that's probably gonna be off my IG. And remember to like, comment, and subscribe, share with the people. Help me help us make the platform, make our channel grow. If you can, please. Happy holidays. I know, I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Getting closer to Christmas, so get them shopping done. Support your family, love your family. Everybody be nice people. And this has been Rorvis Reviews. I am Rorvis Paradox, aka Docs Brando, and I'll see y'all again next time. Peace.